Hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison. I want to welcome all of you here today, and we're going to wait just a second for everybody to get in their seats. Okay, they're still coming. Just like me, all lawyers are notoriously late for meetings. So
amen to that.
It's just the way it works, man. Always fighting fires. Yeah, absolutely. Just another minute, we'll get started. And while we're waiting, those out there, I wanted to make an announcement that the Super Summit on September 29th is now going virtual. We'll live stream it. Plus, it's going to be a hybrid event, so we're going to be doing live streaming. Plus, you'll be there live. The only requirement, if you're live, you have to have a vaccination, proof of vaccination, because of the rules down in New Orleans. But we're still expecting over 300 or 400 people there. Probably if things that won't going on, it'd be 6 or 7, but that's the way it works. But you don't have to miss it. And we'll also be giving away to the live streamers completely free an unedited version of the recordings. In case you have to go to court, you can't make the whole deal, you'll get that within 2 weeks. All right. So let's get started. So I'm real pumped and excited today to have our guest presenter, Seth Greene. I've known Seth for probably 12, 15 years. And I can tell you, he's one of the smartest marketers I know of. Not only has he won Marketer of the Year at GKIC, which is the big outfit that Dan Kennedy created, that I've learned probably 50 or 75% of what I know about marketing from. He got it twice.
3 times.
3 times. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah. So, you know, a trifecta. He's up there with the Bulls and the Dolphins and all that kind of stuff. Trifecta. He's also the owner, founder of Market Domination. And also, you can see behind him, he's a Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington, who was like one of the first guys on Shark Tank. So he hangs around with a lot of smart people and great marketers, and they probably want to hang around with you to learn some stuff. So I asked him, and he's also taken effective next month. He's going to be taking over our podcast. I'm still going to be doing it, but he's going to be doing the behind the scenes work. And so it's with great pleasure that I welcome you, Seth, and I'm looking forward to hearing the strategy you got that I know has worked, and I want to share it with our members. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Ken, for having me here. Your friendship means a lot to me. It's an honor to get to be here. As you mentioned, we're serving you right now. And so everything you see here, Ken already has. So for you fast action takers who want to get this done for you at the end, Ken's already got slot number 1, but let us jump in. Let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you print the worksheets in the chat box because we're going to be filling them out because I am a terrible visual artist. You're about to discover that. So if you took screenshots of the slides, it wouldn't do you any good, because when we get to the drawing section where I teach you literally this step-by-step process, you wouldn't be able to read my handwriting later. So please, if you don't have the worksheets, if you can't print them out, then you're just going to need like 10 pieces of paper, because we'll draw it out together. So we're here today to talk about your dream practice growth strategy, or as I like to call it, the proven system for personal injury attorneys to grow their own cults. Now, cult does not mean religious cult. Cult is an acronym, and we'll talk about what that stands for in just a minute. You're going to discover the 5 principles to growing your own cult. We're going to talk about how to reinvent your practice to create evangelists. So literally, imagine you could wave a magic wand. I'll use my Apple Pencil, for example, and have 50 evangelists promoting your practice at no charge to you every single week for a year. what if you could kind of create that celebrity and authority positioning, but you didn't have to do a media buy, right? No TV ads, no billboards, none of that. As Ken mentioned, I have over 72 cult members who are promoting our business, sometimes multiple times in a week. And we've done this over 63 times for our clients, including, as Ken mentioned, we'll be doing it for Pilma. Kevin, he did mention that I co-host Sharkpreneur with Kevin Harrington. So I'll show you what Kevin has to say super quick. Let me know in the chat box. It'll be a little bit muffled, but let me know if you can hear him.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, inventor of the infomercial and original shark on the hit TV show Shark Tank. I'm here to talk about my weekly podcast, Sharkpreneur. I really love doing my weekly podcast, and Seth Greene and his team do an amazing job. They actually do almost all the work, okay? I just show up, hang out, get to meet amazing people every single week, and I just want to say you should tune in to Sharkpreneur. And, you know, I love going there because I never know who's going to be there on a week-to-week basis. So thanks for being there today.
Now, one thing Kevin said that is incorrect is he does know who Kevin is. He does know who his guests are. We tell him every single week. We even write questions for him. His assistant prints out his emails. He doesn't always have time to read them. This is Rich Sheffrin, the founder of Strategic Profits. I know he's one of Ken's mentors. He's one of the godfathers of internet marketing. And he says, if I had to start all over again, this is what I would do. And that strategy is what I'm going to teach you here today. I'm going to bribe you to participate. So we're going to give away a free vacation at the end of today's session. Where is that free vacation going to be? Let me show you. So we are going to give you a free vacation to Orlando or Las Vegas, your pick. You have to get yourself there. I will pay for the hotel room. It is a 5-star resort. I've been there with my family. My staff has been there. We send our clients there. You will have an absolutely fabulous time. 3 nights, 4 days. I'll pay for the hotel to the person who participates the most. So that means when I ask a question, you answer, you chime in. We make this more of a conversation. So that is the bribe to get you to participate and make this more of the ethical bribe to get you to be part of the conversation. As Ken mentioned, I've been interviewed. I've been written about in Forbes and Inc. magazine. I've been interviewed on NBC and CBS. I've been written in the 2 top trade journals for my original industry of financial services, Registered Rep and Insurance Newsnet. Along the way, I've written 9 best-selling marketing books, and I've been on the cover of Success magazine. But I'm not telling that to you to impress you, but to impress upon you, this isn't where I started. It wasn't always like this. See, I went to undergrad at Syracuse University a few decades ago, and I went for musical theater. And the reason I went for musical theater is because at the age of 18, my life goal was to be a Broadway star. That's all I wanted to do with my life. You see, obviously, my stage changed a little bit. And the reason for that is, at the end of my first semester freshman year, my dad called. And he said, I'm so sorry, we can't afford for you to keep going to Syracuse. You have to move back home. You have to go to SUNY Buffalo. You have to live at home. You have to get a job and work. And you have to do chores like doing the dishes around the house. And there's no girls over and there's no loud music after 9 p.m. And he hung up on me. And I called my mother in tears going, Mom, I just got here. I've only been here a couple of months. I love it. These are my people. This is my tribe. These professors are amazing. This is what I want to do. Don't make me come home. And she said, your father got the tuition bill and he's freaking out, but we'll try and figure it out. Well, thankfully, I got to keep going until second semester when I got the same exact phone call from my dad saying literally the exact same thing. I called my mother again. She said he got the tuition bill. Then sophomore year, this happened. And I realized this was going to happen every single time he got the bill. He was going to freak out and tell me I had to come home. But somehow, some way, I got to keep going. However, I decided maybe I didn't want to starve as a waiter in New York anymore. Maybe I already felt like I was starving. So I decided while pursuing my musical theater studies, I would also become a college financial aid planner and help other families reduce the high cost of college, which I did. And I went to work for a company called A.G. Edwards. They are a Fortune 500 financial services firm that no longer exists because they got bought out twice in the 2008 market crash. Well, at A.G. Edwards, after I passed my Series 7 and my licensing exams, and I was my first day in production, when I could actually help clients and make money, my branch manager taught me a formula. This is not from the Da Vinci Code. He said, this was again, decades ago, no internet, no social media, no email, no do not call list. He said 300 cold calls a day equals you'll talk to 60 people. 15 of them will agree to let you send them information. 5, when you follow up, will book appointments with you. 2 will blow you off. 3 will actually show up, and you're a rookie, so you'll close 1 client. 300 cold calls a day should equal 1 client a day. 300 dials a day keeps a branch manager away. That was the saying in our office. And I don't know about you if you've ever had to cold call, but I absolutely hated it. And I was banging my head against the wall every day, interrupting strangers, getting hung up on, asking for money. Something had to change. Well, as fate would have it, fate intervened. And I lived in a college town. My neighborhood was called Campus Manor, and there were a bunch of college kids and 20 somethings in my neighborhood. Well, one day there's a knock on the door. It's Saturday. I was playing PlayStation. I didn't have any plans at the time. And I opened the door, and these 2 young ladies were at my door. And they said, we want to talk to you about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I said, well, I'm Jewish and I'm good. And they said, well, do you have an open mind? Would you be willing to have a religious conversation and just talk about your beliefs with us? And again, I had no plans, and they were attractive. And I said, sure, why not? I enjoy a good religious spiritual debate. Come on in. Well, they came back several times. Then they sent pairs of guys to my apartment a couple of times. Then they came back, and I realized this was a marketing challenge. They were trying to get me to change beliefs I had had pretty much since I was able to talk, instilled in me by my parents. Now, I realized if they're not offering anything in return, right? They weren't offering me any money. There was no tangible product I would get. They just wanted me to change my religious beliefs. And I said, that's a heck of a marketing challenge, right? I said, I wonder who else is really good at that. I said, let's go to an extreme because I'm trying to market my college practice, right? So I said, who is really good at getting people to not only change their beliefs, but give up their friends and family, give up all their money, and evangelize for the cause? Well, I don't want to offend any of you if you belong to the Church of Scientology, but that was my example. And this is the Church of Scientology in Buffalo, New York. It is a gorgeous building. And I said, I don't know anybody better at this. I'm going to go play prospect at the Church of Scientology. So literally I went, I got audited, I read books, I took classes, I freaked my Jewish mother out. I said, Mom, I'm not going to convert. Don't worry. They're not going to get me. I just want to learn how they get people to do these types of things. And it kind of sent me down a rabbit hole. So I started reading books like The True Believer and reports like How Cults Seduce and what marketing can learn from them. And I had a breakthrough. And that breakthrough is what we're going to share with you today. As Ken mentioned, I've been nominated for Marketer of the Year 3 years in a row. I'm the only person who's ever been nominated 3 years in a row. People have done it once. No one's ever done it 3 times. And it made me a company hero at a Fortune 500 company with tens of thousands of people, and then launched the business you're about to hear about today. I'm going to let TaxBot share with you a little bit about their experience, and then we'll get started. Remember, either print the worksheets and have them out, or have 10 pieces of paper and a pen.
I just hope everybody sees like why we've been excited about this. Like, and like this is just like fast tracked us into, we're like way further ahead than we've ever been in entering into a new industry. And you don't have to do it just to enter into a new industry, right? You can do it to elevate yourself in your current industry. But it's like jumping to the front of the line. It's kind of, I mean, there's no way we could pull this off by ourselves. Lined up. We were trying to go down that route of trying to build that influence, and you showed up, and it was, anyway, I'm just super excited. This is one of the most exciting things that we're doing on our marketing side right now.
All right. So I know it varies all over the map, depending on the type of the case. And obviously there's a lag time between when you evaluate them, when you agree to accept them as a client, and when there's a final settlement and you actually get paid. But just type in the chat box again, the free vacation goes to the person who participates the most throughout today. What is a client worth to you on average? Just give me a range. Type it in the chat box. I know it's going to vary all over the map. Humor me. All right. Justin says 15,000. Awesome. Right now, Justin's winning. He's going to win the vacation. There we go. Darren says 10,000. Deborah says 10,500. All right. We're making some progress. Okay. So this process that you're about to learn, Patrick says 5 to 15, will work for you. You cannot see the chat. Okay, Sarah, you got to hit the chat button. Okay, if you've got a high transaction value, which all of you do, if you were selling, $199 DUI evaluations or speeding ticket reductions, this would not work. If you have 30 minutes a week, because that's how long it takes, and you're coachable, we've broken this system more times than I would care to admit. So humor us, follow the process. It works the way we work it now. So I'm sharing this with you because you deserve better, right? Some of you might be competing in marketplaces where here in Western New York, the three biggest law firms are Cellino and Barnes, William Mattar, and Cha-Cha and Fleming. Now, Cha-Cha and Fleming is mostly more nursing home, whereas Cellino and Barnes and William Mattar are all their advertisements are about auto accidents. So if you're competing against a firm with a multi-million-dollar ad budget, I know Ken teaches you better ways to do it, more direct response, more things that aren't on 24/7. This is probably right for you. So again, we're going to go through the 5. We're going to tell you what a cult stands for. We're going to teach you the 5 principles to growing your own and how to reinvent your practice to create evangelists. So what is a cult? CULT stands for a completely unique lead generation technology. Now, don't worry about the word technology. The technology is actually something called Dream 50, DREAM 50. Again, it's an acronym. Every letter in Dream stands for something, and we're going to teach you that in just a second. My goal is to impress upon you that the only way for you to truly scale your practice during the pandemic and beyond is to get others to grow it for you. Don't do it yourself. And the only way to get others to grow it for you is by making them a part of your Dream 50 team. You are literally just one Dream 50 team away from totally transforming your practice. I know, because we've done it over and over and over again. Now, if we were at the event live in September and I was on stage, I'd ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. Seth, when you convince me that the key to scaling my practice is to get others to grow it for me, I will go all in. I can't see and hear you, so just humor me and type all in the chat box so I know you're with me before we start our drawing. All in, all in, all in, all in. Awesome. Okay, so how do you build your own cult? All right, hopefully everybody got pieces of paper and a pen or the worksheets. Give me a yes in the chat box if you have paper or you've got the worksheets. Let me share my iPad drawing screen. You're about to see what a fabulous visual artist I am. Now, 1 second. It's mirroring the screen. There we go. Awesome. So here is what you are going to draw. The first graphic is a series of 4 boxes. We're going to fill them in just a minute, and you're going to draw this series of boxes a whole bunch of times if you don't have the worksheets already. So remember, I said that technology is something called DREAM, Dream 50. What does each letter stand for? The D stands for define. I told you I'm not a good visual artist. Thank you for the comment. So what exactly are we going to define? Well, the first thing we've got to define is we've got to define who your target market is. Who is your ideal client? Now, when I've spoken at other industry events, I get I can help anybody who's injured in a car accident. I can help anybody who's injured in a motor vehicle accident. I can help someone who slipped and fell, or negligence or product liability. But in reality, I'm sure Ken teaches that that's not enough of a narrowly defined target market. Unless you have millions of dollars in ad buys, you're not necessarily going to reach every single person who gets in some type of personal injury situation. So we've got to narrow that down, and we'll talk about that. Sorry about that. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We have to define who our target market is, and then I want you to get leverage. I don't want you to just get one case at a time. I want you to get 5, 10, 20. I want you to get a lot of cases at once, as many as you can handle. So in order to do that, I've got to go one level up. I've got to say not only who is my target market, but who are the influencers who influence them. So for example, who else sees your ideal client? And we're going to role play in just a minute, and somebody who volunteers will kind of help them narrow it down, and it'll benefit everybody by watching that process. So I have to define my target market, who influences them, and then where do they hang out? I have to know where I can reliably, affordably reach those people, not only my target market, but also their influencers. So that is the D in define. the D in dream. Now, if you have the worksheets, your second page should say, my blank blank is. The blank is my ideal client is, and then you're going to write below who your ideal client is. For the purposes of this, because I can't see you, I'm going to ask you to type who your ideal client is in the chat box. And again, we'll use someone as an example and help them and help everybody else along the way. So who is your ideal client in the chat box? Remember, the vacation goes to the person who participates the most. Type away, waiting for people to type. Okay, here we go. Darren goes first. Darren says, high wage earning manual labor with little education. Okay, so let's say maybe that's a construction workplace accident. So we're going to say you have high wage earning manual laborer. So I'll say manual laborer, construction. I'm making up the construction part. Hopefully that's right. Yes, workers' comp. Okay, awesome. So who are the next line on the worksheets, or you're going to write this yourself, is their influencers are blank. So who influences manual labor, construction workers? Who else serves them? Where else do they go? Everybody, you can chime in. Everybody, we're all going to help Darren, and then we'll all help each other. So where else might a construction worker go when he is not on the job? Or who else sees construction workers? So for example, would a chiropractor work with construction workers? Home Depot. Yes, absolutely. Justin says Home Depot, Lowe's, shop steward, subcontractors. Absolutely. So the list, you know what? They probably have somebody who does their taxes. They may go to H&R Block if they're not making that much money. They may have a lawyer who did their will. They may have an insurance agent who sold them their disability and life insurance. Darren says cigarette stores, convenience stores. Absolutely. So that segues into the next part of the fill in the blank, which is they hang out. Where do they hang out? So we already got bars. We got convenience stores. We got Home Depot / Lowe's type of places. Company that hires labor workers. Absolutely, Deborah. Thank you for pitching in. So that's the D in define. And I want you all to work on that. You're all going to do that for yourselves. And we'll use someone else for each letter so that you kind of get the idea. So the next page is you're drawing the 4 boxes again, but what goes in them is going to be different every time. So the R in dream stands for reach out. I have to reach out to those influencers. And again, I'm not talking influencers like Ken. I'm not talking influencers like Gary Vaynerchuk or somebody with millions of fans. You're in a local market. I'm talking about the local estate lawyer who might do their wills, the local insurance agent who sold them disability or life insurance. I'm talking about the local accountant. I'm talking about someone in your local market. Unless you're regional, you know, I know Celino Barnes has offices in multiple states. So does William Attar. You kind of get the idea. So in order to get those influencers first, I've got to get them to start recognizing my name. So the first one I'm going to do is if they have a social media presence, I'm going to comment once a week on 3 different platforms. And I'll share with you what, so maybe that means, I'll share with you what that means in just a second when we get to the next page. Then I'm going to write them a review, 2 reviews. So I'm going to give them a 5-star review, maybe on Facebook. I'm going to give them a 5-star review on Google. My goal, or maybe on LinkedIn, if they're a professional. The whole goal is not, I don't have to buy their product or service. I'm not going to necessarily review Home Depot. I might review Value City, which is local. I want them to start seeing my name. If I'm commenting 3 times a week on their posts, if I'm reviewing them and saying they put out great content, all of a sudden they're going to start recognizing my name, because the goal is I want them to have some idea of who I am when I send them the next step, which is a direct message or an email. So that means our next step is let's say on Monday, I comment on a Facebook post. On Wednesday, I comment on a LinkedIn status update. The social network is going to depending on what business they're in. Maybe Friday, I comment on a Twitter tweet or I retweet something. And then maybe my reviews are on LinkedIn and Google. With me so far, give me a yes in the chat box. Okay, awesome. Yes. Okay, I got Deborah was on the list. She said a person seriously injured in an 18-wheeler accident. So is that the person driving the truck or is that the person who got hit by the truck? If it's a person driving the truck and I want to represent truck drivers, that's a whole different set of influencers. If I am, because a lot of you said injured in a motor vehicle accident. So who else might see your client before you do? Chiropractor, pain management doctor, all kinds of other professionals serve your clients as well. We want to get them to become evangelists for you, and we're going to show you how to do that. So D was define. R was reach out. Draw my boxes. E is engage. How am I going to engage them? Because if I just walked into a chiropractor's office and said, I'm a personal injury attorney, here's 100 of my business cards. You don't know me, but can you hand these out to your patients who were in a car accident? What's going to happen? What do you think the response is going to be? Type in the chat box for me. Trash, says Justin. Yes, absolutely. So who are you is a good one, right, Sarah? You're absolutely right. So we've got to engage with them. So the first step in your engagement process is going to be a podcast. Now, I know you might not be a podcaster right now. You might have never even heard a podcast. You might not listen to one. You may not even know how to, you may not be a podcast world list at all. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Congratulations, you're now a podcaster, and I'll show you why it's way easier than you think and how this is going to work better than you could possibly imagine. I'm going to interview them on Zoom. I'm going to do it on Zoom because Zoom is going to give me separate audio and video tracks, which means I now have 2 podcasts for the price of 1. I have a video recording that becomes my web TV show on YouTube. And then I have an audio recording when they get edited that's going to become my audio podcast on, don't try and write this down, I'm going to say it too fast, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Audible. So now I've got a podcast. Hey, Deborah, I just interviewed you on Sharkpreneur with Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank. Are you going to forget about it and ignore it? Or are you going to tell your world, your corner of the world, about the fact that Kevin Harrington just interviewed you? What do you think, Deborah? She's going to tell everyone. Now, everybody who's on this, why will Deborah tell her whole world that she was interviewed on my podcast? Give me an answer. Take a guess. You won't be wrong. Sarah, he's an influencer. Yes, keep going. There's lots of reasons. Keep them coming. Impress others. Yes, it's an ego stroke. Absolutely. People love the attention. Makes you more trustworthy. It's media exposure. Absolutely. So I am going to supply you are going to supply your guest, chiropractor, subcontractor, shop foreman, whoever, financial advisor. You're going to supply them with social media content to promote the podcast. Now they're going to promote the podcast just like Deborah did because it's about them. Everybody's favorite radio station is WIIFM. What's in it for me? So Deborah is going to go promote my show because she's promoting herself. She's saying, look at me, I'm fabulous. I was on the show. She's taking me along for the ride without even realizing it. But I'm not going to ask her to purposely promote me yet. I'm building relationships. I'm building reciprocity and goodwill. In fact, I'm going to take my top 10 to 12 episodes of my podcast. Deborah says, I truly am fabulous. That's awesome. I know you are, Deborah. Ken told me. So you're going to take your top 10 to 12 episodes, have them transcribed. Someone's going to type up every word that is said. They're going to edit it because the way we talk is not the way people read. And you're going to turn into a physical bookstore book. And then you're going to have it published and you're going to become an Amazon bestselling author on your topic. Now, here's the best part. When that book comes out, do you think the people in the book are going to tell anybody, or are they going to ignore it? No, they're going to tell the whole world that they're in a book, because how many chiropractors, how many advisors, how many other attorneys get to be in a book? How many people ever get to sign autographs and take selfies because they're mini famous? Nobody. The second block is SM for social media, Raul. All right. So let's keep going. On your worksheet, you have a blank is like a blank on your blank, or you're writing this right now. I just wrote the word blank. I'm falling for it. Okay. A podcast is like a radio show on your phone. Radio show on your phone. Now, blank are the blank way to blank blank. Interviews are the best way to start a relationship. If I've interviewed Deborah, if Kevin and I interviewed Deborah, you know what, Deborah, you're already fabulous. Let's pick somebody else. If Kevin and I interview Justin, how does Justin feel towards us, right? We just interviewed him. We promoted the episode to our 220,000 subscribers. How does Justin feel about us? Give me an answer in the chat box. It's not a trick question. Justin says he trusts us. He likes us. He knows us. No like and trust. I think I've heard that somewhere before from Ken. He thinks we're worthy. He loves us. Come on. I say I'm going to push this episode out to our 200,000, 20,000 subscribers. He loves us. Indebted, says Sarah. You're absolutely right. But I'm not going to ask him for anything yet. I'm not cashing that chip in yet. People first, blank, promote themselves. Justin's going to promote himself first. Look at me. I'm awesome. I was on this show. Then they take you along for the ride. Because what's going to happen is maybe Justin sends his couple thousand email list or Facebook followers or LinkedIn connections. Hey, check me out. I was on the show. Some of those people are going to go listen to that show because of Justin. Some of them are going to see it and go, ooh, Seth, ooh, Kevin, and go listen to it. And some of those people are going to subscribe to my show. Some of those people are going to get into my world. So Justin has promoted himself and taken me along for the ride. But now I want to take the next step. I want Justin to promote me on purpose. Justin wants the chiropractor to tell all his patients about how fabulous I am. And anytime someone comes in with a personal injury, Justin wants that chiropractor to say, you need to go see Justin. He's the only one we trust. So that is the next step, where we can literally get them handing out your business cards. And that is the A in dream, which is activate. We want to activate the relationship. See, in the book Influence, which I know Ken recommends, by Robert Cialdini, who is one of the best marketing and psychology books of all time. It's called The Influence of Psychology of Persuasion. Two of the biggest principles of persuasion are reciprocity and goodwill. If I build up all of these, we call them emotional value bombs. If Justin drops 7 value bombs on that chiropractor, it's super easy for him to then say, so he's promoted the audio show, he's promoted the video show, the chiropractor shared the social media, he shared the book, and there's some other things that we don't have time to go into. But if I then say, hey, doc, thank you so much for sharing this, this, and this, and this. I'm so glad we got this out to our audience about your chiropractic office. Can you share one more thing for me? What's that chiropractor going to say? Answer in the chat box. These are not true. He says, of course I will, says Deborah. Patrick says, sure. Sarah says, of course. He's going to say yes, because I've also, in addition to reciprocity and goodwill, I've capitalized on the most important principle of psychological persuasion. The strongest force as to what we do or don't do in our own minds is consistency. We have a need to remain consistent with who we believe ourselves to be. So that chiropractor already shared like 5 times. He has to remain consistent. It is actually easier for him to say yes psychologically. It would be harder for him to say no because he's already shared 5 times. It's really hard to go against that and suddenly say no and become a jerk, right? You've already shared 5 times. So how do I activate that relationship? That depends on how your new client intake process works. So this, for example, is a webinar. You are literally watching this process work. This webinar is a product of this process. I went through every single one of these steps with Ken, which is why he's doing this webinar now for you with me. Carl says, all the chiropractors I know say, I'll send you one, you send me one. Carl, that's right. And it's because of how you're approaching them. If you follow this process, that totally changes the game. Because here's what happened. I built up, you don't have any reciprocity yet. They're thinking 1 for 1. It's a transaction. That's like if your wife says, hey, I took out the garbage today, you take it out next week. That's a transaction that's keeping score. That's not a relationship. I'm going to build up so much reciprocity and goodwill, they're never going to ask for any referrals back. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. They won't ask for any money if they could take it anyway. They literally don't ask for anything because I've led with value first. I've added so much goodwill through these 7 emotional value bombs that they literally sometimes will ask ahead of time. I interviewed someone yesterday. We didn't even go through the entire process yet. And literally she said, what can I do for you? I want to help. I mean, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. What can I do? I'm like, well, wait, I was going to send you like 7 other things to make you love me even more. But she enjoyed the process so much. She was like, well, what can I do? So it could be a webinar. It could be a video series. It could be an ebook. Because if you say the same thing as every other personal injury attorney in your city, how do they tell you apart? They can't. You all look the same. If everyone says, the insurance companies are afraid of us and we get the biggest verdicts and we have personal attention and we're going to do a great job. Everybody says that. It's funny. My wife was rear-ended a couple of weeks ago and I was looking up statistics and I was talking to our insurance agent, and 83% of people in America who are licensed to drive consider themselves above average drivers. It's physically impossible, right? We can't all be above average drivers, but it's cognitive bias. We all think we're better. So if everybody says the same thing, how do you stand out? You have to do something different, which brings us to our next piece of paper. So here's what I want you to write down and type in the chat box. My current blank blank process is, my current lead generation process is blank. What is your current lead generation process? How are you getting new leads in the door? Give me an answer in the chat box. What is your number 1 strategy right now? Justin says PPC, pay-per-click advertising, to his website. Awesome. Who else? Google reviews, TV and website, review. Awesome. Asking happy former clients for referrals, TV and PPC, LEOs. Absolutely. Okay. The next one is, I know Ken's taught you to know your numbers. So I generated blank blank last month. How many I generated? That's a number sign, not a hashtag. How many leads did you generate last month? Type it in the chat box for me. How many leads did you get last month? Patrick says 1. That's better than 0. Darren, 207 leads last month. Awesome. So the next step is I blank, 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 blank last month. I converted how many of my leads last month? So Darren, you had 207. How many became clients? Patrick, you generated 1. Did that 1 person become a client? Everybody else who didn't answer, shame on you. And do this exercise with me anyway. Darren, of the 207, how many became clients? Darren says 50. All right, so 50 into 207 is about 25%. So what that means is 75% of those leads didn't convert. So we have a whole separate conversation to have about why those 75% didn't convert. Did they not convert because you rejected them because you didn't approve of the case? You didn't think there was enough value, didn't think it was winnable, wasn't worth your time? Or can we work on what that indoctrination process was and get a higher number of them to convert? Or if you rejected them all, can we generate a better quality of lead so that we can take on more of them? So that goes to our last step. Draw some boxes if you don't have the worksheets printed. The M, D was define, R was reach out, E was engage, A is activate, M is monetize. The number one question, how to generate better leads. Absolutely, I'm gonna show you, this is the process. So in order to monetize, so Darren has to get the chiropractor to actively promote. So he's going to drive people to a lead magnet. Maybe it's a free report on how to overcome the 7 biggest mistakes Chicago residents make when filing their personal injury claim, or whatever, or the truth that the insurance companies don't want you to know, or why you shouldn't handle your accident claim yourself, or whatever it is. We need some type of lead magnet so that we can capture. We need to capture your contact information. It needs to get entered into our CRM or our marketing automation software so that we can connect with them. I want to follow up. I want to send emails. I want to send text messages. I want to possibly send social media broadcasts. If possible, I want to send direct mail. So you show up in a competitive vacuum and convert at a higher rate because the next one is convert. So I've got to capture, connect, and convert. This process is literally what you're watching right now. Ken sent out emails to drive you to this webinar. That captures your contact information. You're going to get follow-up marketing in regards to this in an effort to get you to enroll in the process to have us do all of this for you. Because if you do it yourself, as you saw from TechSpot, it takes a whole lot of time. We have a staff of 44 people here who do all the work. So that takes us to the last part of the worksheet, which is my current blank process is. What is your current lead capture process? Fill it out and type it in the chat box for me. What is your current lead capture process? How are you capturing leads? You got site form fill, says Justin. Awesome. Sarah, you got 800. Justin, you got 109. Darren, you got 800. How are them coming in? Live chat, web contact forms, call rail, live chat. All right. What is your current connect process? So after you've got their contact information, what happens next? What communication, what connection did they get from you? If I go fill out the form on your website right now, what happens next? You get a welcome text, intake department calls you, you get a welcome email, push to call, chat turns to phone call, then transfer to office. Awesome. And then part 3 is what is the conversion process? So they get a call from an attorney in minutes. Because you all know time is money. You all know that you're not the only attorney that they're talking to. You know that if you guys don't respond, an hour later, they'll be talking to somebody else. Chat comes to email, intake specialist reaches out to them. Is that intake process scripted? Do you record and monitor the recordings of your calls? Do you know that your staff is saying the same thing every time? Is that script in a psychologically proven laid out format for the highest potential for conversion? Next, I blank how this blank process could blank my practice. I see how this Dream 50 process could explode my practice. Because what if I do this every single week for an entire year? If I had 50 evangelists out there sharing not only the podcast every week, but then directly promoting my law firm to their patients or customers. One relationship a week, 50 in a year. Even if you only got one referral a week, which would be really low, that's 50. But the average wedding is 250 people before COVID. So each one of those 50 people probably knows hundreds of people. So what are the results? Let's give you some examples. This is Alex Mondosian. He is the founder of marketingonline.com. He is known as the Warren Buffett of the internet because he's made over $400 million online.
Hey, it's Alex Mondosian from marketingonline.com. We are at a big event here with internet marketers, and it's tough to meet people in the crowd, and people usually don't stick out, except for one person that I'm going to endorse right here and right now. Seth Greene knows his stuff, not only as a fellow podcaster and having a web TV show and knowing how to deliver content, but he knows how to do it for you. He's done it for me, he's done it for others, and I trust him with my clients, customers, and members. And I'm not going to let him talk because this is my show for him. But if you want to get taken out of the crowd and be seen and be heard, don't be a best kept secret. I know I'm pontificating, but I'm telling you, hire this guy because he knows what he's doing and he's got the right team. Alex Mondosian, hire Seth.
All right, so how do you apply this in your practice? We are talking about who are those micro influencers in your local or regional market who see the same people that you want to see. So the 5 principles to going your own cult, DREAM, define, reach out, engage, activate, monetize. Now, let's talk a little bit about how you reinvent your practice to create evangelists. Again, we talked about what type of lead magnet are you offering? If it's just get a free consultation or get a case evaluation or what is your case really worth, that's the same as pretty much every other attorney who does what you do, right? How do we reinvent that process to create evangelists? Well, what if it's educational? What if they are, for example, what if they get, I'll show you, hang on one second. What if when they request information, what if they don't just get the information they requested? What if they get a box? I know Ken calls this a shock and awe box. This is one for my college financial planning practice, where we save families an average of $19,077 per year per child, cutting the cost of college tuition. So they request it. There might be a DVD player in here playing a DVD from me to them. There is a welcome letter. It spells out what to do. There's a number of different free reports that are in here. There's a whole bunch of different resources. There might be copies of my books, information that they need to know before they start their case, and all of that information. Nobody else is sending anything like that. I know because I've played prospect and opted in on websites for college advisors all over the country. And if I get any follow-up, I'm surprised. And if I get anything more than email or a phone call, I'm surprised. Nobody takes the time or the energy to send something that will blow the prospect away. And again, personal injury, right? Time is money. So literally, ours is not as urgent as yours, but we will send them there, send them overnight, send them in second day, so that if they have called any other firms, if they've talked to anybody else, no one else is sending anything like that, so that when that box shows up, they're like, oh my God, we got to deal with those people. So I hope you're kind of getting that we've got to do something different and that you should stop trying to market your practice yourself. It's a lot of work. Get others to do it for you. Build an army of evangelists, an unpaid sales force out there every single week generating leads and cases for you. Now, you might feel a little bit like this guy, right? I'm throwing a lot at you in a very short period of time. You're drinking from a fire hose. But I hope you see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that this process actually not only does work, but could work in your practice. Now, how it works for me, that is my wonderful wife, Rebecca. She has been a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. She went back to work part-time 2 years ago. She is now an author, a blogger, and a podcaster using this literal exact process. So she has, I think it's like 74 members of her cult who are out promoting her mommy blog and her parenting books. She's a social worker, by the way, to their audience of parents. These are our three kids. Max is our soccer star. He plays goalie for the Olympic development team. So what I'm telling you is every city, every week practices in a different city because the kids aren't all from one place. They're coming together to have a shot in like 4 years at the Olympics. So it's everywhere. So it's a lot of travel time for me, which means only way I can do that is if I'm not worried about where my next case, my next client is going to come from. Ella takes after me. She's our musical theater child. That's her starring as Cruella in 101 Dalmatians. What was awesome was before COVID, she got asked to audition for Frozen on Broadway. So we took the day off. We flew down to New York. She didn't get the part, but now they know who she is. And because of that, she got to be in a Broadway showcase with Corey Cott, who won a Tony for originating the role of Jack in Newsies. Again, none of those are in Buffalo. None of that's in Buffalo. Lots of travel time. This is David Braun, a financial advisor, who says, the accountants and attorneys you got me in front of, I never could have met otherwise. I've already gotten referrals and business from them, and the book part isn't even out yet. I'm very happy with my results. So how do you make this happen? Well, if you're stuck in your box, if you think I got to rely on PP, I can only do PPC to the website with live chat and a form and an intake call. If you think I have to keep doing, you can keep doing that. Please do. Don't stop anything you're already doing. But if you won't try anything new, obviously this won't work for you if you're not willing to try something different. Another thing I want to address right now is we get this question all the time when it comes to podcasts. People say, oh, am I going to get 1 million downloads? Am I going to be the next Joe Rogan? The answer is no. This isn't about the downloads at all. This is about the relationships. I don't care if the 50 people who you interview are the only 50 people who ever listen to your show. I mean, you'll get more. Obviously, they'll share it. But this is about the podcast being the way in the door to start a relationship that works better than anything else ever could to generate referrals. There's no BNI meeting. There's no networking event. There's no stale coffee and pastries. Literally, it's a 20 to 30 minute interview on Zoom, and then a follow-up call that if you follow our process, they will want to hear about what you do, and they will want to get activated to talk about how they can promote you to their clients or patients. So how many of you are excited about what we just talked about? Give me a yes in the chat box. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome. All right, super excited, says Deborah. Ooh, I like that. Very helpful. Woohoo, says Mark. I love you guys. This is awesome. So is it okay if I share with you how we can do all this for you? Give me a yes in the chat box. Yes, 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 please. Yes, yes, yes. How about now? Yes. Awesome. Okay, sure. Okay. So if you want it all done for you, here's our process. And we're doing this for Pilma literally right now. We will do the research and find the 50 influencers in your marketplace who see the same people you do, who could send them your way. We will literally build the contact list, email, snail mail, phone call, because we're going to send them direct mail to get them to be interviewed on your show. We're going to send them email to get interviewed. We're going to message them on LinkedIn. If none of that works, we'll pick up the phone and we'll physically call them and get them booked on your show. We're going to write the interview questions for you. You don't have to become Oprah. No one's going to jump up on the desk. We will write the questions for you for each interview. So all you literally have to do is show up and read and have a conversation. We have a 2-time Emmy award-winning team that's going to practice with you to make you an awesome interviewer. We'll teach you how to record. We'll even supply you with the equipment, and literally walk you through how to use it to become a podcaster. Again, it's just to start the relationship. We'll type up every word of the recording. Like I said, we'll edit those transcripts. Our Emmy award-winning team will write the chapters in the book about you. We'll ghostwrite it first person as if you wrote it. We don't want the credit. You get all the credit. It's your book. We will do the graphic design and the layout and publishing to Amazon and Kindle, and we will do the marketing to make it an Amazon bestseller. You will then have an Amazon bestselling book on personal injury on whatever subtopic you want. You will obviously have a weekly podcast. You will have social media graphics for them to share to promote the show. If you add all that up, that is a legitimate retail value of $40,910. Now, Ken said, these are my people. You cannot charge them $40,910. They have to get a Pilma deal. But if you invested $40,000, would it be worth it? Well, some of you said your average case size was somewhere between 5 and 15,000. So at 5,000, maybe you need 8 to 10, 15 cases in a year to pay for this. If your case size is 15 grand, what do you need? 2, 3, 4, depending on your net. So one of my mentors is Tony Robbins, who says, if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always got. I'm assuming you want something different or you wouldn't be here. Now, there are 2 reasons, and let's address them right now, why you won't do this. Number one is procrastination, right? This isn't the first web class training you've ever attended, and it's not the first one for PILMA. And Ken brings you amazing content every time, but you don't always do it. Life gets in the way. Literally 2 weeks ago, I was doing a version of this webinar for another group of people. My wife knew I was doing that webinar. She knew not to disturb me, but she texted me anyway. And I said, honey, you know I'm doing a webinar. Like, I'm live right now. It's kind of rude that I'm sitting here with the phone now while I'm talking. What's the problem? And she said, I found 3 baby mice in the garage. I ran over one accidentally with the car. I feel like I'm going to throw up. I'm freaking out. You have to come home and deal with the mice. You can't make this stuff up, right? Life happens. And then number 2 is the investment. Obviously, you're not going to pay $40,000. However, I do realize even the discount we're going to give you, and we can actually show you how to get it all for free. It's an investment. And so we're going to make you a PILMA special for, well, we were going to do 48 hours, but it's Thursday. So 48 hours would be Saturday. So we'll give you till Monday. We reward fast action takers. We'll give you till Monday to make up your mind if you're in or you're out, or until we sell out. So here is the offer that we're going to make you. If all it did would turn you into a podcast host with your dream 50 as guests, is it worth it? If all it does is turn you into a published author, and I can show you some sample books in just a second, would it be worth it? I'm biased. I think the answer is yes. Obviously, so does PILMA, because we're doing it for them. So our regular price we talked about, we're going to give you 20% off and let you make 12 monthly payments at $29.97. But wait, there's more. We also have a platinum level. If you really want to put your results on steroids, we will send your Dream 50 influencers a monthly snail mail postcard. We will send them a monthly gift, like a wristband with an inspiring slogan, or a journal, or a mug, or something to stay physically in front of them every single month. We will send them a quarterly letter from you, which you'll approve. You approve everything we do before we do it, designed to get them to send you a significant number of referrals at once. And you'll get 2 books instead of 1. That adds up to $86,955. You're not going to pay that either. It's 45% off for PILMA members till Monday. It's 12 monthly payments at $39.97. Now, if you have the resources and you want an additional 20% off, if you prepay for the entire year up front, you get another 20% off. I'm going to show you how to get it all for free in just a second. But wait, there's more. I host weekly office hours. Every week, you can jump on live with me and ask me any question you want about all different types of ways to grow your business, not just this, because we do have a PPC agency. We do a whole lot of other social media, direct mail, and marketing services. You can ask any question you want. We normally charge $197 a month for access to that. We also have a monthly virtual mastermind group where I teach the latest of what's working to grow your practice for 2 to 3 hours a month. We also produce a bi-monthly magazine, which I'll show you in a second, for you to send to your clients and your influencers. This comes out every other month. It has your logo. It has your name. It comes from you. It's like Architectural Digest meets Good Housekeeping. It is solely designed to be warm and fuzzy. It has your ad on the front page. It has your ad on the inside cover. And you will get referrals every other month when you send it out. We will also send you my monthly snail mail newsletter, which is like a marketing seminar in every single issue. You will have your own account rep. You will have your own project manager. That adds up to $991 a month in bonuses. Plus, you can have email access to me to ask your questions. You get all of those bonuses for free at either level, gold or platinum. Now, who wants the entire thing completely for free? Give me a I do in the chat box. I do. Here's how it works. If you send 3 clients our way in the next 12 months, your program is free. You stop paying. So what that means is every week you're going to interview someone. They're going to like, this happens every day. You're going to like the process. They're going to like the process so much. They're going to ask you how you did it. You're going to send them to us. 3 of them hire us. You stop paying. Now you don't have to sell it. You don't have to do anything. Literally every single day we get referrals of people who saying, oh my God, I love being on Steve's podcast. Steve told me to talk to you guys. I literally had one yesterday. We had a podcast in the real estate technology space. And one of the people who was interviewed said, man, I have my own podcast, but the process isn't anything like what you guys are doing. And I'm certainly not making money doing it. And I'm not getting business out of it. How do I sign up for yours? Jeff, our client, didn't have to do any selling. He just said, talk to Seth and the team and they'll hook you up. That's all you have to do. You do that 3 times. They're going to ask you. You don't have to sell this at all. They will ask you how to do this. You send them our way. 3 of them buy. You stop paying. Your program is free from then on. So we had 4 slots available, but Ken took the first one. So we have 3 slots right now based on our manpower. After that, we will be at max capacity. I am going to put the URL in the chat box where you can go grab one of those 3 slots. Now we got to award the free vacation. So give me a second to look through the chat and decide who's going to win. Then we'll answer questions and we'll go through. I'll show you some sample books. Hang on one second. All right. Our winner is going to be, there's a black box on the screen. It should be gone now. Deborah Garcia. Deborah Garcia, you are the winner. You need to email me and tell me if you want to go to Orlando or Las Vegas. Again, I will, when you email me, I'll put my email in the chat box. I will send you all the details. You have to activate your free vacation. We send you the code. You have to activate it like in 48 hours. You don't have to go right away. I know there's issues with, you may not want to travel because of COVID. You have up to 18 months to actually take the trip. And I want pictures of you and whoever you take with you on your 3 nights and 4 days. So I'm going to grab some sample books and show you what the books look like. And you're going to type questions in the chat box. Give me 2 seconds. All right, here's some sample books. This is what that's a book cover. They're real physical bookstore books. It's like, depending on the length, might be 150, 200 pages. Again, it is an interview book. They're edited, obviously. There are chapters about you that are written as if you wrote them, ghost written. It is a real physical bookstore book. This is one, this isn't legal, but this is legal for the legal market. Sorry. This is Red, White, and Blue. Advice from wine and cheese experts. This guy's an e-commerce marketer who has a website that sells wine and cheese supplies. That's one of our favorite titles. Let's see here. This Protecting Your Future, #1 on Amazon. This was a financial advisor who wanted to work with airline pilots. So we did Piloting Your Retirement, First Class or Coach. And now the best part is we interviewed HR directors at airlines. So literally, because they're in the book, they buy stacks every month. And literally when someone comes to them, when a pilot or an employee comes to them and says they're going to put in the retirement paperwork, they hand them his book. Like, you can't get a better referral than that. This is what the magazine looks like with your picture, your cover. Again, it's written by a professional editorial staff. It is not about injury in any way. It is completely warm and fuzzy. There's articles on people and places and recipes and all. It's purely warm fuzzy. But again, you get to customize the inside front cover. You get to customize the back cover. We'll work with you on that. Our designers will help you create all of that. Literally every other month when this goes out, my phone rings. That's what the marketing newsletter looks like. Again, there's no sales pitch in it. It is all marketing education to help you grow your practice. So I know we've given you a ton of comment. Congratulations. Okay, we got 2 slots left. Congratulations to Shirley, Cheryl, sorry, who already signed up. Way to go. We got 2 slots left. We may sell out by Monday at 5 p.m. So congratulations. Questions before we wrap up? Ken, you want to chime in? Carl, congratulations. I signed up for the Platinum program. Okay, we got 1 slot left.
All right. No, I could say that I'm sort of like that guy you were talking about. You know, I said, listen, I do a podcast, but this is ingenious what you're doing with it. And I still, not even doing what you're doing, I have picked up so many new members because I think also it gives you authority and credibility too. You know what I'm saying? I've had people tell me that you know, with leads, I asked them, I said, how'd you hear about me? He said, I've been following your podcast for 6 months, Ken. I said, I'll miss it. He said, you know, so yeah, I mean, I believe it. And to me, it's fun. You know, I'm looking forward for you guys doing my own questions, because I used to have to write my own questions, you know.
No, that's so much work and research and no. Yeah, I'm so glad we're going to do that for you.
So yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it's and I know you know what you're doing. So I think it's a no-brainer for me. I mean, we're doing it in. We had somebody doing it. We brought it in house, and Emily and those girls are doing a great job with it. I had no problem with what they were doing, but this extra stuff you're doing, we just didn't have time to do it. And why reinvent the wheel if you already got a system that works well? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I appreciate that. For those of you who have questions before you sign up, text message is the fastest way to get me. I put my cell in the chat box. Just know I'm in Buffalo, New York. I'm on the East Coast. I have 3 kids. So if you're texting me after, like, high school freshman orientation for my son is tonight. So if you're texting me and I'm not responding, it's either because I'm doing something with the kids or we're sleeping and it's nighttime and I'll get back to you the next day. Yeah, Carl, congratulations. That's awesome. Let's see, other questions. Oh, how long does it take? Okay, so the first month is going to be research and build out. So we've got to come up with your show title. We've got to come up with the graphics and the intro and the audio and how it's going to sound, and do some coaching with you on how to do a good interview. We've got to do the research to figure out who are your ideal micro influencers. And then we've got to go find them. So you'll start doing interviews before the end of month 2. And then you'll be doing an interview every week, 30 minutes. And then once the show starts airing, you're going to do a second call, which is the activate phone call as well. So once you're doing both in a week, again, it's an hour a week total. Mark, do the prices on the website reflect the discount? Yes. The difference is if you want to prepay for a year and get another 20% off, we do not have that on the website. If you text me, I will shoot you a separate, you tell me which program you want to prepay for, and I'll send you a separate prepay link. So you will, again, by the end of month 2, you'll be doing interviews. We'll launch the show. Again, this isn't about getting zillions of downloads. If you want to throw a ginormous ad budget, we'll go get you at it. We'll go get you we'll go get you downloads, but it's about the relationships. Mark says, thanks. Awesome. We will start working on the book. The book starts usually around month 6. You got to have enough episodes to make a book. At the platinum level, as Carl just signed up for, you get 2 books, so that we'll do it twice, because we have a large majority of our clients stick around because it works, right? They renew for year 2, they renew for year 3, and we have other services that get tacked on at no charge in years 2 and 3 to make even more from it. But if you're getting regular referrals every single week, why would you ever stop? Like, we're blessed with a really high retention rate because it works. All right, I don't see any other questions. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you learned a ton. If you implement it or attempt to implement it on your own, let me know how it goes. We're always happy to provide some guidance. If you signed up, congratulations. We look forward to working with you. And if you haven't signed up yet, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, shoot me a text message. I'm happy to answer any questions. And then we will either sell out by Monday or the discount goes away on Monday. I have a feeling at this rate we'll be sold out. And then I'm sure we'll do another one of these in the future to report back, like what Carl and Shirley and everybody's results have been, so that you can see how it worked.
Good deal. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everybody.